Sergeant Bowe Bergdhal may have come at too great of a cost for a soldier who some say is a turncoat. Earlier, in our Arise in-depth segment, I spoke to defense attorney and retired U.S. Army JAG Major Gwendolyn Lindsay-Jackson, and I asked her what evidence they have that Bergdhal left his post.
Well, right now we're just hearing it from fellow soldiers who have served with him. They were under a gag order, essentially. They were not allowed to talk about it while he was in captivity, and now that he has been released, you're hearing a lot of issues relating to that. But we really don't have any hard evidence coming out right now. I think there's an investigation, and we have to wait and see what the outcome of that will be.
Well, the President Obama has really stood by his decision to exchange Bergdhal for these 5 Gitmo detainees, but a lot of folks on the Republican side and even in the military are saying, this wasn't a fair deal. You didn't give us 30 days like you were supposed to do. What do you say to all that?
Well, I think that it's very hard to reconcile that, but again, this is a very serious situation. You had a U.S. soldier who was held captive by essentially the Taliban. And I think that it's important to understand that we don't leave our soldiers behind, and that's a completely separate issue from anything relating to his discipline. So first and foremost, we had to do something. We couldn't leave him behind.
Well, we also know that after his debriefing and medical treatment in Germany, once he's actually brought back to the United States, could he be potentially court-martialed?
Potentially that does pose a risk to the soldier, and I think we're going to try to think about what it is that he did while he was in custody of the Taliban. I think there's some rumors that are suggesting that he may have collaborated, he may have assisted the Taliban with arming IED devices, and then there's the issue of whether or not he walked away on his own free will. And I think
from his army base, not from captivity.
From his army base. And we all know that he was, while he was captive, they did intend to keep him there for quite some time, and he did try to escape. So, I mean, there's an issue concerning whether or not he was AWOL for a certain period of time. I believe at least for 30 minutes he was definitely AWOL, but then he was captured.
Sure.
So, there's the issue of whether or not he intentionally meant to be held, intentionally meant to be away.
Right. Well, a lot of conflicting reports there, and a lot of the folks that served with him say that other soldiers were killed in the search for him, so they're upset about that. And they also have launched a military investigation into exactly how and why he did leave his base, and then that time leading to his capture. We also know that his hometown in Haley, Idaho, that they canceled their welcome home celebrations, and as we just mentioned, that his parents were getting some threatening emails, some death threats. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that's reprehensible. And for all intents and purposes, the family really should not be looked down upon, and they should not be receiving threats. This has nothing to do with them. These are distraught parents, and, really, the country should feel for them, despite all the circumstances and the allegations coming out. They had a son that was in harm's way.
And that was defense attorney and retired U.S. Army JAG Major Gwendolyn Lindsay-Jackson. And you are watching Arise News Now.